In this video, I'm going to talk through a few steps that I took in creating an image using our GPTs. Now, I tried Google Gemini and then I tried ChatGPT as well. These images are from ChatGPT. Google Gemini did not really do a great job for me. That could just be me, right? So I would encourage you to try it, of course, because you have access to Gemini. So what I did was I took a very generic title, and again, I don't have any of this scientific information or knowledge, therefore I had ChatGPT give me some examples. So what it gave me as an example is gas exchange in the lungs, and this was the very basic prompt. I put that prompt in and this was the image that I got. I thought this was pretty good, okay? Now, according to ChatGPT, what it told me is this prompt that I'm giving is like way too broad. I needed it to be more specific. And so this was the more specific prompt it encouraged me to use. And it said that, maybe it has to be a simple educational medical illustration because I said it's for a HPE context. And then there were a lot more pieces of information that it added in that it wanted in the image. So notice the amount of information and details that's added into this prompt itself. Clear arrows, basic labels, realistic anatomy. So with all of this particular information, this was the image that was then generated. Now, the ideal prompt apparently is something that goes this long, where every piece of this image is clearly described so that the GPT can generate the image for you. So this was the more detailed version, and this was the image that was generated. One thing that I do want to mention over here is this. For each of these, when I gave the first basic prompt and it gave me that image, generally what I would have done is added the second prompt in the same chat. When I did that, it did not work. It just kept referring back to the original image. So for each of these prompts, I had to start a new chat, and that happened in Google Gemini and ChatGPT. So when you're doing these images, start a new chat every time, because otherwise it maintains the history. So it's referring to what it already did in the previous round, and that's not what you want. You want a clear start. So keep that in mind while you're working with this. So this was the third one it gave. What I want to highlight over here is this. Whenever you're doing a prompt to create images, especially when we're doing it for education, think about a prompt that describes what a picture is and a prompt that describes what the picture should teach. So they're two very different things, right? And so a picture can be really beautiful and elaborate, but it might not be what you want because it's not teaching what you want. So that is important when you're dealing with education. So always think of generating a prompt that describes what the picture must teach. And like we did in the creating a gem exercise, right, where you use the GPT itself to come up with a really good prompt, I would encourage the same thing over here when you're designing these image prompts. Simply because image prompting is a very specialized skill by itself, and it's easier if you just tell GPT what you want and then have it come up with a more comprehensive prompt, which you can then start with and tweak as you go along. Now, as you're doing these prompts, a few things that you want to keep in mind is, remember, AI images are not neutral, especially if you try it out with generating images of people and locations. You'll realize that there's a lot of bias and discrimination built into them. These images are interpretations. Your job is to look at the image, see what assumptions there are. Is there any distortion in the image itself, and does this image enhance learning? And then you decide to use the image or not. Okay, so this generating an image, it is a very specific skill set. Want you to sit with it, think about it, and try it out a few times to come to where you want. So for the assignment itself, you'll be generating 3 images just to tweak and see and come to the best response that you can get.